Yo, what's going down, Green Screen Entertainment fans? Your homie Jay Green back right now with my review, my thoughts and my feelings on the brand new, no pun intended, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Yo, straight up, this movie is off the mother effing chain. And let me tell you why. Number one, I've loved all the Tom Holland Spider-Man iterations. And after this movie, damn, I might have to say Tom Holland might be my favorite Spider-Man, but I'll talk more about that in a minute. First off, this movie is a phenomenal sequel to the already wonderful trilogy, right? One of the best things about it is we continue to see Tom Holland's Spider-Man evolve, right? From the very first time he was introduced in Civil War to Homecoming, and then Far From Home, and then No Way Home, and all that sort of stuff, we're seeing different things happen to him over time. And a lot of those things have come to a head on an emotional level, a maturity level, and just a power level, if you will, with this character in this movie. So you're gonna see all of that come to fruition. And if you've been following these movies as they've come out, you're gonna be right on board with all the emotional weight that comes with what's jumping off in this film. Another thing that makes this movie great is the fact that, of course, it's tapping into Spider-Man lore. You're seeing certain images and things like that that have been made popular in comics over the years. You're also seeing certain things from the trailer come to fruition, characters from other movies that maybe weren't played up as much or haven't been done at all, and they all hit in this movie. Clearly from the trailers, you got the Hulk, Bruce Banner, you got Jon Bernthal as Punisher. This is no spoiler by this point in time. We've all heard that Sadie Sink is in this movie, potentially playing a red-haired mutant. You know who she is, okay? But all of these individuals, all these things that are jumping off are done so well and so masterfully within the narrative, the story, the universe, all those sort of things. Nothing feels forced or is in here for fan service. Oh, it's servicing the fans, all right, yes, but not fan service. Two different things. The question that was posed from the last Spider-Man movie, will he be able to convince MJ and Ned of who he is, that he was friends with them, MJ and his relationship? Will he be able to remind her? Will she fall back in love? I ain't gonna tell you shit. No spoilers here. But let's just say that as they're addressing these things, oof, masterfully done. I ain't gonna front on you. I got welled up in the eyes a number of times. And the relationship between Spider-Man and Punisher is also dope to see. One of the things that really gets me in movies is when someone either feels not worth it or that they're doing something alone and then they finally realize that maybe they got someone else to roll with them, and the emotional impact that has on those characters. And in this movie, that shit jumps off for real. Got your homie choked up. I know I talk shit, but I got a soft side. I'm only human, baby. Now, based on the trailers, you don't really know who the villain is of the film, and I'm definitely not going to give you any spoilers right here, right now. This Sunday, however, I got a Green Screen Live where I am going to be going into heavy spoilers, so make sure you come back for that. But for right now, all I'm going to say is that the villain has a great reason for their villainy and a great ability as they're trying to put forth their villainy. So in other words, the powers of this particular villain are dope. The way they showcase them is dope, and the things that they do with them is also dope and at a very mature level. And when I say by mature level is I mean that they're very thoughtful with their actions, the things that they're doing, and the way that it was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton was great, because there was certain things that kind of threw me for a loop where I'm like, oh, cool, this is the moment of this potential thing. And then you're kind of like, oh, wait, no, maybe it's not, right? So there's a little bit of that misdirect from what this particular villain is doing. And I thought that shit was fly as hell. And then again, when you see the overall power sets of Spider-Man as he's kind of like morphing into the spider and all that sort of shit that we've seen in the trailer, and then you see the power set of this villain and how they're becoming their true selves, if you will, all of that makes me so excited for, one, what's to come potentially just with Spider-Man, but two, what's potentially to come in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This movie hit on all levels, I'm telling you. From Destin Daniel Cretton's direction, I didn't really care for Shang-Chi, not because I think that he wasn't a good director or I didn't care for the lead actor in Shang-Chi. There was just like story points that weren't for me. But This movie makes me a huge fan of Russell Daniel Cretton and what he might be able to bring us in the future, not just in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in film in general. I thought this movie was extremely dope aesthetic. It had that dark, moody type look that you might see in Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Endgame, the type of looks and vibes that we got in early Marvel Cinematic Universe, and most recently from the Russo brothers. So as far as the looks, the aesthetics, the vibes, the maturity level of this story for Spider-Man, very happy, made me feel like Marvel of old. Another thing is, as I mentioned before, the arc of Peter Parker, the arc of this Spider-Man, and watching him evolve over time, much like we've seen with some of our greater MCU characters in your Tony Stark, your Steve Rogers, shit, even Thor, the Hulk, of course. We see these people evolve over time, and in this movie, it feels way more mature than the other Spider-Man films. First, he was in high school. Then he was basically about to be out of high school, graduating. Now this is a grown-ass man, and we see him all over New York City, and you really feel like New York is a character in this movie as well. So the maturity level of this movie goes up, the aesthetics and the vibes of this movie go up, the emotional weight of this movie is right where it needs to be. The acting is on point from everyone in this film, the direction is dope, and the new characters that are introduced in this movie that will inevitably be key characters in Avengers movies and things like that moving forward, can't effing wait. So yeah, I can't really talk too much about this. All I can tell you is phenomenal trip to the theater. Loved everything that this movie gave me. Story was on point, acting was dope, direction was top notch. This is definitely a movie that you should check out at the theater, ASAP Rocky. And as I said before, we're gonna go into a deeper discussion about all the ins and outs, the characters, what they did in the movie, how they did it, what that felt like, all those types of things during the Green Screen Live that's jumping off right here on the channel this Sunday, 8 p.m. I'm gonna send out some reminders and some polls and all that type of stuff to ask y'all some questions, so y'all come ready with the questions, come ready with the answers. We're gonna have a great time. Your homie, Jay Green, I'm out.